you guys so much for coming back and joining us here at the K-Sava Kitchen Educational Stage. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Up next is a registered dietitian, Jo Wang, and she's going to be talking to us about living a healthy life, enjoying amazing food for people living with diabetes. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming to the stage with a huge round of applause. Let's make everyone else jealous in this building that we're sitting right here with Jo Wang, everybody.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm going to talk about how we can enjoy food even if you have diabetes. So, if you're diagnosed with diabetes, a lot of people tells you different things, what you can, what you can't eat, and you probably hear tons of different things like you can't eat sweets, you can eat your favorite food, now you can only eat vegetables and all that. But I'm going to tell you, you can eat everything in moderation. You just need a little bit more planning. So let's go through them. So a lot of our diets nowadays are quite sugar heavy, and there's a lot of like carb loading food and all that. But then with a little bit of planning, we can still incorporate all of these food into a healthy eating pattern and enjoy them in moderations. So let's go through some of the myths that people are going to tell you when you have diabetes. So they say if you have diabetes, you cannot eat sweets. Is that true? No, you can still enjoy your sweets, but probably not like a piece of cake like at every meal. Well, a healthy person shouldn't do that anyway. So if you have diabetes, I wouldn't do that. But if you do want to enjoy a piece of cake or some desserts in a meal, just plan it ahead. You may want to eat less carbohydrates like grains and starch, rice, pasta in that meal, and focus on your vegetables, eat your protein, and then enjoy the piece of cake at the end. And maybe go for walks after so that you can burn out all the sugar that you just consume, and then you check your blood sugar and see if how your body handle that, and then you move on to the next meal. So there is a way to do it so you can enjoy your sweets. It's not true that you cannot. So the next one, people with diabetes have to give up your favorite foods. Is that true? It depends what kind of favorite food you have. If your favorite food is vegetables, for sure not. If your favorite food it's like chicken pot pie or even candy, you can still enjoy the odd candy here and there. You don't need to give up any food. It's what I'm trying to say. So the next one, it's you have to follow a special diet. You heard of diabetic diet, right? We always use that term. You have diabetes, you have to follow a diabetic diet. What is a diabetic diet anyway? What makes it a diabetic diet? What is it? Yeah, it's just pretty much healthy eating, isn't it? Like healthy eating, you watch what kind of starch you eat, and you eat lots of vegetables, you limit the sugary food, and you included protein in your meals, and you drink lots of water, you have fruits, and you just eat whatever other people eat. So just as long as you eat healthy and you have balanced meal, then whether or not you have diabetes, you still follow a meal pattern. We try not to say you have to follow a diabetic diet, because everyone can follow a diet as long as it's healthy and balanced. So next one is people with diabetes cannot eat white colored food. What does that mean? What are the white colored food you can think of? What is it? Rice, white bread, potato, maybe mashed potato. Those are the white food that people labeled. But there are other white food that is actually good for you. Can you think of any? Cheese? Yeah, cheese. Cauliflower. What else? Sweet potatoes? Not white, but sure. Yeah, so basically people are saying you can't eat processed starch, like all the lower fiber, higher glycemic index starchy foods. But it's not true, because you could have just the regular mashed potato, again, include in your healthy eating meals, that it's possible. So let's not label food by their color. We can still enjoy all colored foods, even if you have diabetes. So for the next one, it's alcohol. Any of you enjoy a drink or two with meals? Yeah, you can still do that even if you have diabetes. Alcohol doesn't actually increase your blood sugar because it doesn't really raise your blood sugar, but then alcohol could mix in with like insulin and medication could drop your blood sugar, which is quite dangerous. So if you do drink, stick with the beer or like dry wine or liqueur. Try to avoid like cocktail with loads of sugar in it, but you can still enjoy the alcoholic beverage with your meal, just not overdoing it. And everyone should do that, like not just people with diabetes. So people with or without diabetes should be able to still enjoy a drink or two with your meals. And I believe this is the last one. Diabetic food. Just like diabetic diet, what is diabetic food? Like all the diet food? With sugar-free candy and sugar-free pie and sugar-free jam, all that. Do we need that? No. With or without diabetes, we don't really need diabetic food. You can still enjoy like regular food, wholesome food that made with real ingredients. Just portion size and planning again. So let's see. After all these myths that we talked about, so how are we supposed to eat? What are we supposed to eat? You heard me saying planning, and planning. It's very important that you plan your meal. We can be spontaneous once in a while, but then if you plan your meal most of the time, then you will be able to enjoy all of the food and still have a very good blood sugar control. So let's go through all the basics. You probably have heard about that before. Try to eat like regular meals 3 times or 4 times a day. Try to make it more balanced. What does it mean by balanced? What are the things that we need to balance at a meal? The different macronutrients. So carbohydrates, which are your starchy food. So rice, noodles, pasta, bread. And then protein, so your meat or tofu or chicken and fish and all that protein stuff. And then what else? Fat, which is oil or food that you use to cook your food. And what else? Carb, protein, vegetables. So as long as you include all the food group in your meals to make it more balanced, to get all the nutrients, it's a balanced meal. And to eat regularly will help you to maintain a good blood cholesterol in your body. So it's always good to have regular balanced meal. And focus on more vegetables, because vegetables doesn't always increase our blood sugar. Like the leafy green vegetables, the orange and yellow vegetables, they give you lots of vitamins, minerals, fiber. That's all good for your health. And then protein. So choose the lean protein, like leaner cut of meat and chicken and fish, and also try some vegetarian options, because lentils, legumes, tofu, those are all good sources of protein, high in fiber, and they don't have cholesterol. So those are all good for you. And make sure you include a protein in all your meals, because that will help you maintain your blood sugar throughout your meals. And grains. So those are all different kind of grains. We talk about different like white grains, like processed grains. So try to focus on more higher fiber, more whole grains. So it has higher fiber and relatively lower in sugars. For example, sweet potato will have more nutrients than white potatoes. And what else? Whole grain rice would be higher fiber than white rice, and whole grain pasta and all that. And fat. So we always say try to watch your fat and try to choose a healthier fat source. Vegetable fats are good, like avocado, it's good. Everyone asks me, like, can I eat avocado once a day? Is it okay? Is it gonna increase like my sugar? It won't, because it's a fruit, but it's very low in sugar. It's high in fat, but it's a good source of fat. It's good for your body. Although if you are watching your weight, it is quite high in calories. So you may want to watch the portion size. So 1/4 to half avocado a day, it's very good for you, and it's fine for most people. And sugar. So we talked about people with diabetes, they don't need diabetic food, so they can actually enjoy food that contains sugar in it. So choose the ones that it's lower in added sugar, like enjoy the fruits like berries and all natural fruits that has natural sugar in moderation, and those can be part of your healthy meals. So if you need more information on different food groups and how to plan your meals, there's a very good resource, diabetesgps.ca, and it has lots of resources on there that will give you all the tips to plan your meals and have healthy meal patterns. And we also have a booth just down the walkway that has some resources over there, and you can win a free calendar there as well. So you can come and visit us. So to put everything together, look like a meal on the screen, it's how we are all supposed to eat. So thinking of a plate as your meal, half of your plate should be leafy green vegetables, and a quarter should be your lean protein like your fish and chicken, legumes and lentils, and then a quarter of that would be your starch and grains like higher fiber one, whole wheat bread, and whole grain noodles, soba noodles, all that. And you may include a milk or like dairy milk or fortified almond or soy beverage, and fruits that could all be included in part of your meal. So this is how we all supposed to eat our meals, and this is a balanced meal 3 times a day. To put that into a real picture, there is some fruit on the side, a milk on the side, and 2 vegetables, some chicken and some grains over there. So this is something that you would eat sometimes. Looks appetizing. So you can choose within each food groups what kind of food you want, but pretty much that's the idea. Also, portion size is very important. So you see we have a big plate, but if you're watching your weight, you want a smaller portion, you can use a smaller plate. And also you can use your hands to sort of gauge how much you should eat in each meal. So for grains and starch and fruits, it's your fist. Of course, men's gonna have bigger fists than women, which is fine because they're generally bigger, so they need a little bit more calories and starch, so that's fine. And then vegetables, it's as much as you can grab with 2 hands. So pretty much as much as you want to eat, it's the vegetables, leafy green vegetables. In terms of meat and alternatives, always the palm size and the thickness of your palm. So that's a piece of meat, fish, chicken. It's not very big. We don't need a lot. We always often overdo the meat and alternatives. And for fat, it's the tip of your thumb. So salad dressing, butter, margarine, all that. For milk and alternatives, it's one cup, so 250 meals. So those are the portion size that will help you when you eat out. Usually the portion is way bigger than these. So you can think about what the meal is going to affect your body. If you normally eat that much and then you go out and eat a big meal, then that's going to raise your blood sugar way higher than your normal meal at home. So you can maybe split it up with your friend, or maybe have half of it and pack the half for later. So we talked about all the basics. So there are other things that we can do to help you better control your blood sugar or choose better, healthier foods. One way is to make your own. So any one of you cook at home? You put things together? Yeah, very good. So to adapt a recipe for people with diabetes, you don't really need a lot of sweetener, or like you don't need a lot of special ingredients. So there are a few things that you can do to change a recipe. First thing is the amount of sugar. Say you make cookies. So what are the basic ingredients for cookies? Butter, sugar, eggs, flour. So let's talk about butter. What can you change to make it healthier? Choose a different kind of fat. So butter, it's quite high in saturated fat and cholesterol. So you can choose a healthier alternative. It either could be vegetable oil, Or you can try coconut oil. It doesn't have cholesterol, but it still has the saturated fats in it. And you can decrease the amount by 1/4 to 1/3 of the amount that the recipe calls for, and it usually comes out okay. And in terms of flour, you can choose the higher fiber ones, so whole wheat flour, or you can add some oats or add some flax in it to bring up the fiber content. And in terms of sugar, what are healthier alternatives for added sugar? Applesauce, yeah. So fruit puree. Fruit puree or vegetable puree will give you some natural sweetness. It still has some sugar in it, but it has also the fiber and the vitamins and minerals, so it's a little bit better for you. And what else? You can also cut down the sugar content by 1/4 to 1/3, and it usually won't affect the recipe that much. And did we cover everything? Yeah, so you can try, there's a really easy recipe for cookies. It's just you mash one banana with some oats in it, and then you can just bake it into cookies. So you can try it, just 2 ingredients. Yeah. Honey is still sugar, so sugar is sugar is sugar. So you can substitute regular sugar with honey, but then it still contains the same amount of sugar. Yeah, so how about pudding? Have you heard of chia seed pudding? Have you tried chia seed pudding? That's a very simple, easy way. If you love pudding, pudding usually made with what? Cornstarch, dairy, sugar, eggs. So with chia seed pudding, you only need 2 ingredients, chia seeds and some kind of liquid. You can use milk, you can use coconut milk or almond milk or whatever liquid you want, water. You just mix 3 tablespoons of chia seeds with 1 cup of liquid that you choose. Mix it up, put it in the fridge, and let it sit for 4 hours. Take it out, mix it again, and it should be already like a rice pudding consistency. And then you can add whatever sweetener you like. Like you can add some honey, you can add some maple syrup, or if you add some fruits, it has some fiber and natural sweetness to it, or you can puree a banana and add to it. So it's a very simple, easy dessert that you can enjoy, that is high in fiber, easy to do, and you can even eat it at breakfast. So that's another one. So for savory recipe, do you like white sauce, like Alfredo sauce on pasta? And what's in that usually? Flour, butter, cream. So it's quite high in fat. It's very creamy. But there's a very good alternative that is simple to do. As long as you buy some cashew nuts, soak it in water for a couple hours, and then put it in a blender with some water to blend it up. And then you add some garlic powder. You can add some onion powder, salt and pepper. Taste it. It tastes kind of like Alfredo sauce. And you can pour it over your pasta or make a chicken dish with it. And it's a very healthy, simple alternative. You can try that as well. So if you were to make a real Alfredo sauce, you can always try to use like lower fat dairy or less oil or less fat and all that. Okay, good. So those are some of the recipe makeover tips that you can try. So once you try to change your recipe, I thought I would just show you some ingredients that I love to use when you actually do some makeover of your recipes. So we talked about the chia seeds, which is up there, and then there's a flax seed in the middle. So with chia seed, you don't really need to grind it, but for flax, you do need to grind it to get the omega-3s in it. And both seeds you can actually use as egg substitute in a recipe. So you just mix 1 tablespoon of the seeds with 3 tablespoons of water, mix it up, let it thickens, and you can use it as an egg substitute. And some lentils and legumes right here that you can incorporate into your baking too, like black beans brownies, that you can incorporate some black beans into it to increase the fiber content and bring down the sugar content. And then some vegetable like almonds or coconut milk or beverage, those also contains less calories, and you can find the unsweetened version that will give you more room for other ingredients in your recipe. those are the hemp hearts. So hemp hearts is also like a superfood, and it has the omega-3s, it has the fiber and the protein. So it makes a very easy toppings for your porridge or for your starch, and it will give you some fiber and added benefits to your food. And in the middle, that's I don't know if you can see it. It's some kind of konjac noodles. Have you heard of konjac? Konjac is a root vegetables, and they it's a root vegetables that they harvest and dry and grind into flour, and then they make these noodles that doesn't contain any carbohydrates. So there's a few vendors that sells like konjac noodles, and it's very good for everyone to enjoy something that without any carbohydrates, so that in other parts of your meals you can still include your root vegetables or other food that contains carbohydrates that won't put you over. And then on the top corner, that it's a monk fruit. Have you heard of it? Monk fruit is a natural sweetener. So it's a fruit that if you infuse it into water, so you just boil it, and the water becomes sweet. And it's very sweet that you only need a little bit, and you can add it to your recipe instead of sugar. And it doesn't really affect your blood sugar. So it's a very good natural fruit to use as a sweetener. So you can try all these to try to do your recipe makeover. And at the end, other than eating, exercise is very important. So make sure you include your exercise or physical activity into your lifestyle to help you maintain your blood sugar. 150 minutes per week is what we recommend. So about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. So it shouldn't be too hard. Walking count. So walk 30 minutes here, then you will have your exercise done for today. And it's about a balancing act. So you can still enjoy everything with some planning and in moderations. Whether or not you have diabetes, you can still enjoy food. And that's it.
Of questions.
Sure.
So do we have any burning questions in the audience? I have some, but I'm going to be nice, and I guess I'll let you guys ask first. Coming way to the back. Hold on. I should not have worn heels today.
Where can I get the monk fruit?
Where? In what is it? Price Mart or TNT, like Asian grocery store. If you want to see what it looks like, at the booth of the Canadian Diabetes Association, actually that aisle, we have some sample over there.
Perfect. Any other questions? That was nice of you, so close to me.
Yeah. So just now you said for fat, right? We only can eat like this much.
Oh, this is one portion.
Yeah,
so you can have. We recommend less than 2 portions a day, but it depends. Yeah.
What happened if what about avocados?
Yeah,
Is that alright?
avocado. It's high in fat and calories, but then it doesn't count as added fat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you really concentrate on your hand and you get some muscles in that, your fist will grow.
There
and so
you
can
go.
the portion, right? That makes sense, huh?
Yep.
Any other questions in the audience?
Good.
And it was fantastic. Well, that just means that you did a fantastic job and no one has
Thank
questions.
you.
Thank you guys very
Thanks,
much.
everyone.
Thank you. Please put your hands together for Jo Wang, everybody.
Thank you.